Welcome back to the Gritty Glitter Badger podcast, where I love to mix brain science with badassery to help you own your life from the inside out. I'm your host, Krista, and I think my glasses are slightly crooked, and that's okay. Sun's out. I had to put my sunglasses on to be able to see the recording, which I'm totally fine with the sun being out. I have no problem with that. Again, I'm coming to you on location. I am poolside. And today I'm going to be diving into um, something that's really like fascinating, and it's wildly misunderstood. And I've been intrigued by it for a very long time. It's fascinating to me. And um, it's a part of the human brain, and that's the reticular activating system, or the RAS. And if you've ever wondered why you suddenly start seeing, red Jeeps after deciding to buy one, or, why your brain seems to zero in on stress when you're overwhelmed, well, buckle up, my Badger peeps, because this episode is about to show you just how much power you have to shape what you see, feel, and create in your everyday personal reality. So let's start to decode your brain's filter and fire up your focus and rewire your life. And let's just get straight into it. Let's cruise on in to the topic of the day: the reticular activating system, the brain's gatekeeper and your personal reality architect. So, what is the RAS? So, the reticular activating system is a dense network of neurons located in the brainstem, right? And it stretches from the medulla through the midbrain and into the thalamus. And, it's small in size, but its impact is immense, right? And it acts as the brain's internal spotlight, right? It's deciding what information gets your conscious attention and then what gets filtered out, right? Think of it like a spaghetti strainer, and you pour the spaghetti in and the excess water filters out, right? And at any moment, your brain is bombarded with over like 11 million bits of sensory information per second. So 1001, that's 11 million bits of sensory information that just happened while we're here live on this podcast, right? Yet you can only consciously process about, 40 to 50 bits, and the RAS determines which bits make the cut. So its primary job is to regulate, wakefulness, arousal, attention, and awareness, right? But here's where it gets really fascinating. And, this is like the part where I need to keep it simple, stupid, and not get so nerdy on it, because I can totally geek out and get totally nerdy and sciencey on it. But is really fascinating. It doesn't just respond to the external world, it also responds to your internal world, right? Your thoughts, your beliefs, your desires, your fears. And this means that what you focus on internally becomes what you see externally. And it's the ultimate co-pilot in how you experience reality. And I need to take my sunglasses off here and put my regular glasses back on. It's very weird. Anyway, I'm going to write myself a note because I want to put it in the show notes. It's the gorilla, and it's a gorilla video on YouTube. Totally watch it. Holy Moses. I'm not even going to tell you. It's the most amazing thing ever. The gorilla and the basketball. It's actually very famous. And I write this down now. This is live. This is what we do. Show notes. Okay. So the RAS is a filter, right? So imagine walking around in a crowded, noisy party, right? And there's hundreds of conversations that are buzzing and happening simultaneously, right? And suddenly you hear your name from across the room. So how did you pick that out of the chaos? Well, you can thank your RAS for that, right? This system functions as a sensory gatekeeper, and it's constantly scanning your environment by, like only letting in what it deems as important. And what's important? Anything that aligns with your survival. Could be threats, loud noises, unexpected movements. Your goals be, maybe it's finding a job or spotting a potential partner, or again, that red Jeep. Your beliefs and your thoughts. Yes, including your self-talk. So if you're constantly thinking, I'm unlucky, then your RAS is going to filter into your personal reality every single thing it can to validate that very exact belief. And, as opposed to if instead you believe that opportunities are always around me, opportunities always come to me, right? Your RAS goes to work, and then it's going to work on proving you right. So it's like giving your brain a personalized search engine, right? Like your brain is your own Google, right? Maybe it's Bruegel. Your brain's Google. Bruegel. But anyway, you are in charge of the keywords that you put into that search engine. So what are the scientific foundations behind this? So sleep wake control. So the RAS plays a central role in regulating that sleep wake cycle, right? By, modulating electrical activity inside of the brain. So when you're awake, your RAS, that activity is high. It's producing these low amplitude, high frequency beta waves, right? And then during sleep, the RAS slows down and it's allowing those delta waves to dominate, right? And then the transitions between sleep, you know, those stages such as that REM sleep, or, this is where your dreaming occurs, right? They are governed in part by the RAS's interaction with other brain systems. So, disruptions in the RAS can lead to insomnia, narcolepsy, and also, there's sleep alignment influences. Um, the sleep alignment influences, how well the RAS performs, you know, at its filtering duties, right? So inadequate sleep, it impairs its ability to regulate attention and mood, which means your perception of the world is literally foggy, brain fog. So what are the neurotransmitters' roles in the RAS? So the RAS is a symphony of neurotransmitters, right? So there's norepinephrine from the locus coeruleus, and this boosts vigilance and it mobilizes attention under stress, right? Serotonin is from the raphe nuclei, and this modulates your mood, its calmness, and its transitions between those sleep stages. Now, acetylcholine, this is key to wakefulness. It sharpens your sensory awareness, right? Then we have histamine, and this is from the hypothalamus, and this maintains arousal levels. Dopamine, this fuels motivation and reward-seeking behavior. And then we have glutamate, and this is the excitatory transmitter, right? And it helps trigger waking states. So each of these chemicals, they play a very unique role, but together what they do is they allow the RAS to be this, dynamic and adaptable thing, right? And this fluidity, it makes it responsive to both external stimuli and internal intentions. So clinical significance on this, it tells us that damage or dysfunction in the RAS can have profound effects. So coma and a persistent vegetative state are often associated with RAS disruption. Narcolepsy is believed to be this result from hypocretin or orexin. Sometimes I get these names, like to say these is like, bleh, they get like mush mouth. Anyway, the signaling dysfunction that affects the RAS's, its overall stability. And then in Parkinson's disease, degeneration of brainstem neurons impairs RAS related alertness. And, it's important to understand that the reticular activating system isn't just academic. It has real world relevance for diagnosing and treating cognitive decline, sleep disorders, attention deficits, among so many more other things. So now let's talk about the RAS and our focus and our perception. So it's not just an anatomical system. It is a psychological amplifier. And if you constantly focus on what's missing in your life, or what isn't working, or what you don't have, or this bad thing that happened, or this, or what you fear, right? Well, guess what? Your RAS is going to dutifully, and it is going to obey you, and it's going to tune your perception, and it's going to highlight more of the same. It is going to prove every single thought that you have or feeling right. And, as opposed to if you start to focus on abundance, connection, potential, opportunity, infinite possibility, empowerment, positivity, right? The RAS adjusts your cognitive filter to show you where those things are hiding in plain sight. So studies in attention bias and goal-directed behavior support this. So one study published in the Journal of Emotion found that individuals primed with positive words were more likely to notice opportunities and perform better on tasks. Why? Because the RAS was primed with expectation, right? And it's important to understand that you essentially become a magnet for the reality you're most focused on. Again, there's this energetic frequency that we are putting out. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts carry frequency, right? I call it the boomerang effect. Whatever you throw out there with that boomerang, whatever you have attached to it is going to come back to you, right? It's not mystical, it's neurological. So the RAS doesn't judge, whether you're focused on good empowering things or bad disempowering things, whether it's empowering, it's limiting, fixed, growth. It simply says, noted, we're filtering accordingly, right? So what is that subconscious connection? So your subconscious mind is the programming layer, right? And it's feeding the RAS its instructions, basically, right? It's the grocery list, right? Here you go. This is what I need. I need you to seek and find it, right? It stores beliefs, habits, trauma, and self-concepts. And so, if your subconscious is loaded with scripts like I'm not good enough, your RAS tunes into your perception to confirm it, you know, um, forgotten compliments, magnifies criticisms. It totally misses over opportunities, and it focuses on every single negative thing that it can find. But here's the kicker. You can reprogram your subconscious through repetition, intention, and visualization, and by doing so, what happens is you change the RAS's job description, right? You no longer want to, or you're no longer finding evidence for unworthiness. Its job now is to hunt for proof of your capability, your value, your goals, right? So tools like daily affirmations or, power phrases, especially spoken aloud with feeling, visualization sessions, right? Seeing and feeling your desired life, cognitive reframing, right? And this is where you're questioning old stories. Like you question those stories and the identities and things like that, right? And these techniques help to shift the subconscious narrative. And when that happens, the RAS is so obedient, it follows right along. So you are co-creating your reality. And this comes from your power of focus. And this entire system, it highlights a powerful truth. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are the co-creator. You are the alchemist, right? And when you choose to think, believe, or, focus on, what you focus on, you are giving instructions to your biology to shape your lived experience, your personal reality, right? And your RAS is always listening. It never goes on mute. Self-talk, it's hearing every single thing, right? So when you shift your attention toward gratitude, joy, abundance, empowerment, positivity, possibility, right? Your brain gets the memo and it's like, oh, this matters. Okay, let's find more, right? And this is the neuroscience behind manifestation. And it's not woo, it's wiring, right? You and the universe are in a constant dialogue. Your thoughts are prompts. There's energy attached to those thoughts, right? And the RAS is just the translator. And it's kind of like, don't kill the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. RAS is just your messenger. It's doing what it's being told to do. It is probably the one thing in this entire world that is so good at its job, right? That it could, even if what you're is coming into your world, it's still doing the job that you're giving it to do no matter what, right? In reality, your subjective experience is the result. So what are some tips to fine tune your reticular activating system's filter? So, a technique would be intentional goal setting, right? And the purpose is clarifying what matters, right? And the impact that it has is it boosts perceptual sensitivity to goal relevant stimuli. Daily visualization. This stimulates achievement, right? And this trains the subconscious and the RAS to track for success cues. Mindful noticing. The purpose of this is to anchor attention in the present, right? And then the impact that it has on your reticular activating system is it builds RAS awareness muscle, right? It is a muscle and you need to work it just like your body. Imagine that, right? Um, Reframing those negative beliefs, right? This is when you actively interrupt self-defeating, thought loops, right? And or feeling loops, whatever it is, right? And you redirect the filter toward empowering evidence. You're challenging it. Something else would be gratitude journaling. And this is what this does is it helps to reprogram the subconscious patterns that you have. And then the impact that it has is it's turning the RAS to seek out all of those positive experiences, right? So the reticular activating system, it's not just scientific curiosity, right? It's this neurological gateway to how you live, see, and shape your personal reality, right? And then with awareness and intention, you can train your RAS to, become your ally in creating the world that you actually want to experience. So when you set those meaningful goals and you challenge it, limiting beliefs and limiting belief patterns, and you practice your, visualization, and then you raise your internal standards, right? Set that bar high. You're not just changing your mindset. What you do is you're rewiring that filter, right? And you're programming, you know, you it's an inner spotlight to help you seek out the very things that align with your deepest desires, right? And again, it's not magic, it's your birthright, right? This to have this powerful intersection of brain science and conscious living, right? It's ours for the taking. It's there. And, so if you've ever wondered why some people seem to attract like abundance and opportunity and ease and joy. Like, just know this that they likely trained their RAS, maybe not even knowing it, to see what they believed was possible. And now it's your turn. All right, Badgers, that's a wrap for today's brain bending journey through your reticular activating system. Hopefully, you're walking away not just inspired, but feeling empowered and hopeful, right? And you have more control than you think. Your brain's not just passively observing, it's constantly curating your experience based on what you decide to focus on. So the question is, you know, what are you telling your RAS to look for? So if this episode lit you up, screenshot it, share it, and tag me at Gritty Glitter Badger on IG. And remember, your RAS doesn't serve what's true. It serves what you tell it to make true. So choose wisely, filter fiercely, and live fully.